And welcome back to Travel Market Life. I'm your host, Ryan Haynes, and you're joining us for Hoteliers Voice, one of our series where we delve into the minds of hoteliers and some of their choices and decisions around technology and strategy. Today, we're going to be talking to Paolo Donna, the Chief Information Officer at Stay City Group. This is a story of data and business intelligence and how and where hoteliers can gather data to underpin the revenue strategy. We're going to be finding out how Stay City Group has responded to the changes in booking behavior and how this has influenced their long-term strategy. How and what ways they're thinking digitally about the customer and the guest experience, the wider data strategy, and key criteria for the procurement process when identifying the right partners, technologies, and systems. Stay City Group is an award-winning Dublin-based company, one of Europe's leading apartment hotel operators with 30 Stay City Group is an award-winning Dublin-based Stay City Group is one of Europe's leading hotel operators with 30 properties at the end of 2021. It currently has properties in Ireland, France, UK, Germany, Italy, with plans to expand into Portugal. Stay City was established in 2004. The properties are popular with both business and leisure travellers. The apart hotels have 24-hour reception, and most have a stay cafe selling drinks, snacks, and breakfasts, a guest lounge, gym, and guest parking. So joining us is Paolo Donna, the CIO. Welcome, Paolo. I understand that you've been busy with 2 new properties due to open.
Hi. Thanks for having me. Yes, very busy lately. Probably contrary to how the hospitality industry is going, we've been actually expanding quite a bit lately. So yeah, busy times for us, very exciting.
And has it been quite an aggressive strategic growth that you've had at Stay City Group over the last few years? Because I understand that you've now got several thousand units to your names.
We started the year with 2,700 units. We will close the year with 4,300 units, and we'll be on a path to be on 5,500 by the end of next year. So it really feels in the company that we are at the beginning of a hockey stick growth. It took us 15 years to get to above 2,000 rooms, and now in a matter of 18 months, we're gonna more than double that.
And over the last 18 months itself has brought a whole load of new challenges that you've had to deal with. And I guess you've had to respond and identify how and what way Stay City Group fits now within travelers' minds and what their needs are. How have you adapted and responded to the changes in booking behavior since the pandemic?
So the pandemic specifically obviously has been very hard on everybody in the hospitality industry. We've suffered like everybody else, but probably actually a little bit less than everybody else. This is due to the type of product that we sell. So having self-contained units that have a kitchenette and not relying on spas or extra services sold, meeting rooms sold at the properties, allowed us to enter into medium and long-term contracts with, let's say, the police force or the hospitals, nurses, people cocooning. So we have leveraged our properties for, with this type of contracts, which really helped us navigate these circumstances. So the product itself lent itself to surviving those conditions very well. So we have a shift from the leisure type of business to a more corporate side, specifically during the pandemic.
That's very interesting, and particularly the fact that the length of stay was a lot longer. And we've seen this sort of market certainly grow significantly after the last 18 months. And the midterm rental market was one that was emerging prior to the pandemic. How much do you see this as part of your longer term strategy, these more midterm rentals, or do you feel that was just something that is a part of the pandemic, and once the pandemic has fully eased, we're going to return to perhaps more normal levels of length of stays?
There's got to be a correction, undoubtedly, a big correction. However, if we go back to pre-pandemic levels, is to be seen. Corporate travel is down, city breaks and leisure travel is picking up. However, Stay City specifically, we always had a little bit of a longer kind of length of stay profile. Due to the type of product that we sell, right? Specifically how our apart hotels are built and how the rooms are built lend themselves to a longer stay. So you have a kitchenette, you have a little bit of F&B, you might have kind of a removable workstation there or a place where you can work. So we have laundry facilities at the properties. So if you're staying for work, if you're a work away single, you've been sent to a given city to have meetings, you need to stay a number of days, you probably don't want to go out to a restaurant, lunch and dinner for a week. So this just lends itself to a longer length of stay anyway. We have seen, apart from the pandemic, right, an increase in singles and couples going to city breaks. So that's kind of improving as a cohort of customers that we have. But generally speaking, our product resonates very well with the workaway professionals, be it singles or a small group.
And I guess that market in itself is growing because of this ability to be able to work from anywhere, this digital nomad, this greater freedom of remote working has enabled that. And it's a bit of a sort of cloudy area, because is it business or is it leisure, or is it the pleasure market that we're looking at?
There is a cross sell, right? There is definitely people that stay with us because they're work away singles and then choose to use our facilities for their city breaks or for their family breaks, right? So there is definitely a crossover there that we as a company we're trying to leverage. One thing, for example, if you look at market research, it doesn't seem that a kitchenette is a very sought after amenity really to have in the room. However, it is highly valued once you've experienced it. So it's kind of something that you pick up after you stay in one of those places and you appreciate. So if you're a family with a young kid that you need to warm up a bottle of milk or cook a meal specifically for the kid, that you can't go out to a restaurant with toddlers, it's highly convenient. Now, how are we responding to the change in behavior? What I'd like to mention is the buildings we have are purpose-built, right? So we have different room types. We have studios, they're the smallest. We have a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartments, so the different configurations. We are shifting the proportion of these room types based on customer behavior, right? So we've been increasing, for example, single studio apartments lately in the latest builds, because we see a prevalence of this city breaks of the singles over the families or larger groups that have been more prevalent a few years ago.
Interesting. And I mean, I guess as part of sort of adapting to the type of guest and the length of stay, it's how you're sourcing that booking as well. How have you adapted your wider booking strategy, and what are your focus to facilitate these new plans?
Yeah. We have historically relied on OTAs, so Booking.com and Expedia, very heavily, and they've been great partners to us because they have allowed the business to grow. They brought customers into our hotels. However, I think it's widespread across the industry. Really, we're all trying to get a direct relationship with our guests, right? Especially for very loyal customers, people that are very loyal to our brand, or the repeat customers. There's no point in paying commissions over and over again. If you're a repeat guest that stays once a month for a business meeting in London, if you keep booking through Booking.com, we keep paying commissions. And also we can better serve you as a customer by having a direct relationship, by knowing what you like, by knowing the room you want to book, the type of room or the type of breakfast you want, if you want to go close to the lift or away from the lift, a number of things that we can just personalize a little bit better. So getting control of the conversation with our own customers, especially the loyal ones and the repeat ones. And obviously there's a financial incentive in, not bleeding commissions over and over again. So that booking strategy, we're trying to pursue. How we're going to do that? We need to tackle, price disparity, obviously. So we need to make sure that our own prices are not undercut by our partners. So I have a sort of a best price guarantee when you book direct, or loyalty scheme. We want to provide the best digital journey if you book direct. So if you book with us, you have a certain amount of features. You can check in earlier. You have more flexibility. You have a better deal. We have better packages on our own website. And obviously, there's some technical things underpinning this strategy. We need to have outstanding conversion on our own direct channels, the website, because that implicitly give our marketing teams better leverage and a better customer acquisition equation there for the company to be able to invest more in direct marketing. So it's a mix of obviously having a great website, a great converting website, having the right pricing there, and providing the guests with the most relevant and most appropriate channels and marketing message at every point, at every touch point.
And I guess it's really thinking digitally about that guest experience and that customer journey from the moment of when they're searching to also the moment when they're leaving the apart hotel stay city. I mean, what are you looking at there particularly to deliver a more higher level service through your digital channels?
Yeah, so we have a number of different customer profiles, right? I've mentioned the single workaway customer, single and couples maybe going on city breaks, so more leisure focused. There could be a small workaway group, so set of colleagues, or a small leisure book. Imagine someone going to see a match in Manchester, or for certain properties that we have, might be families with kids. So each one of these cohorts have a different reason for staying in Stay City. So a one-size-fits-all kind of marketing messaging no longer fits the bill. Okay, so what tick the boxes of a family might not be the same thing. If you're a workaway group, you want great internet, ensure that you have an in-room workstation, or place where you can work. If you're a family, you want to cast your Disney Plus content for your kids right at night, and all these things. So also we're expanding in more and more countries, so different geographies, different languages, different type of customers. So in Germany, for example, people use the breakfast facilities and food and beverage way more than other countries. Right? So what this concept of the zero moment of truth, of being able to influence the purchase decisions, right? By saying the right things at the right time for the type of customer you are, that is something that we're working very hard towards, right? So we need to start with that, collect the right data, ensure that we understand the customer, understand which bucket you fit under, without overly making assumptions, right? Just because you like Eggs Benedict and you booked, you had Eggs Benedict at F&B, doesn't mean that we need to bombard you with Eggs Benedict, messaging now throughout your stay forever and ever. However, knowing that you, Ryan, are traveling for business and you travel midweek allows us to use the right messaging and the right incentive and something that's just fundamentally more relevant for you. To do this, we need to go back to collecting the right data, so ensure that we know who you are and what the profile. And then that flows into what we call a customer data platform, so a 360 degrees view of who you are and what your patterns are. And from there, the marketing team will work out exactly what is the right message, what's relevant, because we want to develop that relationship with you, obviously marketing with you, but without being annoying, because we all know how overwhelming it can be when a given company tries to sell too hard to you and it just becomes counterproductive. So just having the right messaging at the right time with the right imagery, and so on and so forth. And collecting data is a multifaceted approach, right? It could be, what are you reading on our blog? Like, if you read the Christmas market blog, so are you a person that is interested in leisure travel over Christmas? or city break. That's a type of marketing, right? You might be interested in. Or if you're a worker, you might or might not be price sensitive, right? Leisure generally is more price sensitive than corporate travel. So maybe an incentive or a 10% discount is not as effective to a corporate customer that it is to a leisure customer. If it's a family, the room size and the sleeping accommodation for kids or all the amenities that you have to cater to your young kids might be much more relevant. So all these things play into the marketing, the interaction with you, but also the service that we provide you during the stay. So during the check-in, during your stay, promoting our food and beverage facilities and so on and so forth.
So all this data you try to check or try to collect during the journey that the customer's making, either pre-booking or post-booking, and this all is sitting within a central depository, data depository, your customer data platform, and you're able to then start to create profiles of each and every single one of your customers then. Is this a customer data platform that you have developed yourself, or are you working with a partner on this?
So no, we have not developed ourselves, and would be lying if I said to you that we're already at the end point. Like, this is a journey of adoption. Customer data platforms are very popular in retail, and I think hospitality is a little bit behind the curve in the adoption of these systems. We have developed in-house a fairly extensive data warehouse system that pulls data from different places and allows to do advanced reporting and analytics and ensure that there is a single source of truth for different departments, so we all see the same picture of how the business is operating. However, a customer data platform is one step. It's probably 2 steps ahead of a standard data warehouse, right? You collect data from multiple sources, from the Wi-Fi network, from the booking engine, from the property management system, from the website, and all the interaction. You merge all this data, you try to dedupe and cleanse the data, so there's a lot of logic there. Then there's a layer of intelligence, which is, okay, now we have the data. What are the cohorts? How are you, what is the next best action that you can take for a given person to give them what they want? And for us, obviously, to maximize the occupancy of our hotels. And so, for example, if you are a corporate customer and we see a pattern that you're staying every 2 months in a given city for work, we know that your propensity to rebook has a certain time window, right? So that informs when automated campaigns or reminders to you get sent out, because there's no point sending you an offer the week after you just stayed, because we know that's not the pattern. Okay, so the next best action could be the timing of sending emails out or interacting, or it could be the upgrades. Like, if you are a repeat customer, you always stayed in a studio apartment, it'd be worth us giving you a free upgrade to a bigger room, so you experience how much better it could be, because you've never seen that before, right? All those things. And then the third layer of a CDP, so is data, is analytics, and next best action is the actual activation of the campaigns. So it's a Uber marketing platform where you can automate a number of things. You can send SMSs, or you can send emails, or you can trigger pop-ups in the website while you're booking, and so on and so forth. So the whole automation and activation of those campaigns. So I think we started, with the best of intention, with a pure data warehouse built in-house, but we're moving to purpose-built, software as a service platform that will ingest all the data and help us achieve all those goals. I think it's probably too big of a challenge to be solved by a single hotel. What you want is to partner with someone that has the R&D capabilities and the capital to develop these systems and to spread the cost across multiple customers. Because I don't think a single hotelier doing everything in-house would be able to achieve the level of innovation that will be required to stay relevant in the next few years.
And as you say, you know, with over 30 properties as part of Stay City Group, you've got a great amount of data that you can collect from across your properties and across some of your users, particularly if they're returning customers and maybe visiting different locations. And you mentioned it is part of a journey to embed a data strategy and to evolve that data strategy. It's not something that happens overnight. How are you building this within to the culture of Stay City Group and enabling the team to better understand how to capture and utilize this data?
Um, it's a difficult question to answer in a straightforward manner. The reality is it's iterative, right? We come with a baggage, not Stay City specifically, as an industry, right? There's a certain way that we have done things. And as a growing company, there's things that you do when you have 1, 2, 3, 5 hotels and you know everything intimately, to grow into a bigger type of company where you need to summarize and look at data, right? So iteratively, meaning you start building a single source of truth, you start building the data, you start looking at the numbers, you start analyzing, you start doing experiments. So a culture where trying things out is allowed, and you can roll out a certain digital journey, let's say automated online check-in or auto room assignments or different sort of things, and let the data tell you how the results are. And then being able to show to the rest, to all of the departments on the business, what the results are, what the gains are, and start being more and more data driven. So it's just an iterative process. You know, hiring the right people obviously helps, and having the right tools in place. So have the, you know, the Tableau, the Power BI's, the different analytics systems, and ensure that these are deployed across the business and visible. Helps with the buy-in from all sides of the business. I come
And
from a tech background, so it's very easy for me. But it is a process of education and iterative work.
And it sounds to me, it's not about necessarily getting it right first time. You've got to discover what works for your customers and what works for your brand. And as you say, you know, try, test, see what works, and then if necessary, return to the drawing board and test and try something else.
Yeah. So this is sounds second nature to me, coming from the software, specifically from a software background, kind of agile methodologies where you have short sprints, they call them, where you test the changes. So it could be a new version of an email or a new process, and just to look at the data and refine and keep iterating. However, this is not how the industry works, generally speaking, right? So there's a process of adoption, right? There's a process of seeing um, what is best to work on. Like, it can give you a million examples, right? We could set a roadmap of the website development for a year or 18 months. I have probably 3 years of developments lined up for our partners or for internal teams, be it new payment methods. Like we have now Chinese or Asian customers that come in into Europe, but they want to pay with their mobile phone, with their WeChat account or a WePay account, or different payment methods that, you know, a standard hotelier doesn't support. So are you going to do alternative payment methods? Are you allowing people to pay in installments, right? Sometimes it's not easy to decide on the spot if this should be in or not. So the strategy is do a small trial, put it on the website, see the adoption, and based on the conversion of those, proceed and fully commit or not. The same thing is with full cloud-based keyless entry. Roll out to one property, roll out to two properties, see the adoption, see the uptake, and then, be agile and decide if you roll it out or not everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, you know, markets are changing day by day. So what may have worked last month may not necessarily work as effectively this month. I think, as a lot of us have also seen with restrictions of movement being alleviated over the last few months. And then we touched on sort of looking at key criteria as part of your procurement process when identifying new solutions as part of your tech stack. One you mentioned was really around research and development, that investment that's being made for companies. But what other particular aspects of a partner, and particularly a tech vendor or supplier, do you look for when making your decisions?
Yes. So I'll preface that by saying we don't do much development in-house. So for us, it's more an integration play. Okay, so middleware and connectivity will be at the top of our list, right? We are trying, and we have been on a path to select suppliers that align with our core values. Stay City, we are betting on customer satisfaction, right? So the key pillar of the company is not being an average company. We want to be 9 out of 10, more than 9 out of 10, actually, 9.1, 9.2. We track the Net Promoter Score. We track customer reviews and rankings very, very closely on a weekly basis on all aspects of the business. So how well is our customer, the call center, responding to customer inquiries? Measure that. Measure how people are happy about, how happy people are about our Wi-Fi, about our cleanliness, about this and that. Every single aspect of the business is analyzed and tracked to provide an outstanding service. That is a core pillar, but it's also a key advantage, because if you rank better, you achieve a better average daily rates and so on. So there's also financial incentive, but it's ingrained in our culture, okay? So with that said, we need our partners to operate at the same level. So we need a booking engine supplier that delivers a quality of the digital journey that reflects this core value and the quality of the rooms and the product that we present to our customers. So it can't be sloppy, half broken, badly translated, or big downtimes and so on and so forth. So this is one fundamental thing, overarching view. Okay. Then connectivity, obviously, on the technical side is required. We use some big systems. As a property management system, we use Oracle Opera. So that is a big integration point. We're trying to decouple all of our systems from Opera, specifically by integrating a middleware. So this is what is in technical terms called an enterprise service bus architecture, so that we can swap out individual components, be it the revenue management system, the housekeeping system, the property management system, the data warehouse, the CDP. So by having the plumbing architected correctly in the system, it will allow us to switch to the best suppliers over time. So yeah, that's definitely a challenge. There's not a typical architecture that's been historically implemented in hospitality, but it is required for us to innovate. We are taking bets. We are doing trials with the young startups, and we're trying in certain aspects potentially to go against the grain. One example that might be relevant is the industry, generally speaking, is going towards keyless entry. That is going to be something required. So you open the door by using your mobile phone, right? Some hotels, especially the 4-5 stars with a lot of amenities, like big resorts with swimming pools and gym class, see a big adoption of their own mobile app. So you might go on a resort, download the app, and have the happy hour, have booked your classes, booked your spa treatments, and so on and so forth. For a company like ours that doesn't rely on those, an adoption of an individual app, so people don't really want to download an app for every hotel they visit, right? So we are trying to pursue a mobile web-based strategy where there's the least amount of friction possible, which poses their own challenges. If you want to open a door, a hotel door, without an app, then you can't leverage Bluetooth technology, for example, to open the door. So there's a whole set of technologies that you need to architect all your systems in a different way if you're trying to achieve that. Now, where ultimately this will go, with Apple entering the arena and allowing hotel keys to be loaded into the iOS wallet and so on and so forth, is to be seen. But yeah, it's an interesting time to be in hospitality, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many changes happening globally, locally. We've already seen the move from international to domestic travel. We've seen, the secondary, tertiary cities and regions and rural areas come up in demand against the cities that we've seen so much, so often previously. So the whole dynamics certainly are changing. Well, Paolo, thank you ever so much for all that insight there for how Stay City Group is approaching the new challenges and the different types of technologies that you're looking at and the role of data. And with your recent openings of Aldgate East and Paddington as well, good luck with all of those and obviously all the other properties that you've got planned into 2022.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, lots of them. So it'd be excitement. We have Frankfurt, we have Manchester, we have more in Paris. Yeah, it's exciting times.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
That was Paolo Donna, the Chief Information Officer for Stay City Group. Join us for more episodes and interviews for Hoteliers Voice on Travel Market Life. And you can also check out some of our interviews with technology vendors where we look closer at integrations, open APIs, connections, as well as a wealth of different applications and software that you can integrate into your properties. You've been listening to Ryan Haynes on Travel Market Life. Ciao for now.